The United States is defined by its iconic landmarks and vast national parks, yet a secondary layer of geography exists alongside them, a network of coordinates where the standard rules of reality appear to break down. We live in an era where satellites map the globe down to the square meter, and digital sensors track atmospheric shifts in real time. Still, these specific pockets of land continue to defy our most advanced measurements. To understand why these places remain anomalies, we have to look past the folklore. We will examine the physical evidence left behind, testing these sites through historical records, through environmental science, and government data. These locations occupy physical, geographical coordinates that remain accessible to the public today. Their endurance is what makes them vital. By refusing to be solved, they expose the absolute limits of our modern investigative tools, forcing us to stand at the edge of our own understanding and confront the unknown. The oldest of these borders was drawn over 4 centuries ago on Roanoke Island, marking America's foundational colonial disappearance. An entire English colony vanished without producing a single piece of physical evidence. Investigators found no casualties, no disturbed earth for graves, and no signs of a struggle. With only the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post, historians are left to theorize that the settlers survived by joining local Native American communities. In New Orleans, centuries of dense history have constructed an environment where folklore remains a permanent part of the landscape. The reports of disembodied voices and shifting shadows in the French Quarter often align with the city's timeline of devastating fires and yellow fever outbreaks. The legends mirror the actual casualty reports. Further west, historical trauma took on a physical shape. The Winchester Mystery House stands as an architectural record of a widow's obsession. Inside, the floor plan abandons logic. Staircases terminate into solid ceilings, and doors on the upper floors open outward to multi-story drops into empty air. Sarah Winchester inherited a massive firearms fortune, along with the belief that she was pursued by the spirits of those killed by her family's rifles. She funded 40 years of continuous, chaotic construction to disorient the entities she believed were trapped within the walls. When viewed through the lens of history, these sites reveal themselves as physical markers of unresolved cultural pain or significant gaps in our documented past. Some mysteries are rooted entirely in the physical environment. In the forests of the Pacific Northwest, the Oregon vortex has become a focal point for strange observations. Visitors here often witness apparent physical impossibilities. People seem to change in scale depending on where they stand, and objects placed on wooden planks roll actively uphill. This diagram shows the structural layout of the site. The phenomena are the result of severe forced perspective. Because the cabin is constructed with unnatural angles, it removes all standard vertical and horizontal reference points. When human sightlines are mapped out within this distorted environment, identical objects are mathematically forced to appear different in scale, deceiving the brain's visual processing. The same rigorous observation explained the sailing stones of Death Valley. For decades, boulders weighing hundreds of pounds were found with long drag marks carved into the flat, dry lake bed, seemingly moving on their own. The solution involved a rare weather event. On freezing nights following a rain, a microscopic sheet of ice forms. When morning winds pick up, the melting ice becomes a frictionless surface, allowing a gentle breeze to push massive boulders across the mud. Physics and geology show that many seemingly supernatural events are the natural world operating under highly specific conditions that were simply not yet understood. A frontier of anomalies remains that actively resists categorization. In West Texas, investigators have spent over a century trying to explain a recurring atmospheric event known as the Marfa Lights. Observers document glowing orbs that float above the horizon, split apart, and vanish. Studies on vehicle headlights and atmospheric temperature inversions fail to account for the agility and variety of the movements. In Massachusetts, the Bridgewater Triangle acts as a geographic catch-all where reports of cryptids and atmospheric lights are condensed into one small area. Then there is Area 51. It is a documented military installation, yet its reputation is built entirely on a vacuum of public data. The stories surrounding the base originate from sightings of objects in the night sky executing sudden, sharp maneuvers in total silence, defying known aerodynamics. The gap between the military's operational silence and the volume of civilian sightings has created a fertile ground for theories regarding recovered technology. When institutional secrecy or scientific instruments fail to capture a repeating phenomenon, the absence of an answer becomes the very thing that sustains the legend. Our journey across this shadow map has covered weather anomalies, historical debates, and classified airspace. The persistent absence of definitive answers at Roanoke, Marfa, or Area 51 signals a hard limit in our modern investigative tools. Remaining unsolved allows these locations to humble our intellects, serving as permanent markers for the edges of our perception. Weigh the evidence from these locations and decide for yourself which site represents the most severe crack in our understanding of reality. Whether a future instrument eventually measures the Marfa Lights or the desert keeps its secrets permanently, these landmarks prove that humanity's natural state is to be drawn toward the unknown.